Hi, everyone, and welcome to A New View. I'm Shira, and I'm here with Kim, Lee, and Juji. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. So, I recently came across a quote that hit me in between the eyes, like probably no quote that I've heard recently. And the quote is, "You can't make somebody appreciate you by giving them more of what they don't already appreciate." Are you freaking kidding me? So, so does that resonate with any of you? Just curious.
Yes. We're all like, yes. I think of that emoji with the head, the brain explosion.
That's what she just did.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
That certainly resonates within me. Actually, when we were talking about doing this episode, it brought up a whole bunch of things for me from my past in relationships with men, because definitely lived a life up until my mid 30s of dating and giving and giving and giving more and giving more when they did not appreciate it. And I had this like false sense of hope that any something I would do would change the fact that they didn't, like, all of a sudden one day they would just appreciate it so much and like fall in love with me. And over the years, growing up, maturing, meeting the love of my life, who does genuinely appreciate every little thing I do, even though he might not say it every second, but like he does, he genuinely does. And just feeling that love, feeling that appreciation that I was lacking with so many people that I, really tried to make it work. It's just, it's like delusional, and it stemmed from my insecurity, my lack of self-worth, just like trying to grasp and hold on by a thread that this person that they would love me, that they wouldn't leave me. And, just all the work this is why we do the work. It's to gain more security, gain more love for ourselves. You guys know I'm on a self-love journey for the rest of my life. I know we all are. And it really, self-love is so important. And that's why I love the thought of teaching it to young, like teenagers especially, or even just kids growing up. Because imagine me at that young age, 16, 20, 25, and all those guys and all the damage that it did. It like broke me slowly because I kept doing the same thing over and over. And like no one was in my life telling me, you need to work on your security, you need to work on the love that you have for yourself, and da, 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 da. And friends would say things, here and there, like, oh, don't try so hard. Oh, let him, you got to play games, let him chase you, da, da, da. And that just never sat well with me ever. Like, I'm just not that person. I'm not good at it and I don't want to do it. So I just always was like, no, I just want to keep giving love. I want to keep being who I truly am, which is this very giving person. And I don't want to become that other person of like, I'm not giving anything. This person can learn to blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I want to, start with trust until you lose my trust. And I want to start with love and appreciation. And now I've learned over time that if you don't, get that back consistently on a consistent basis, then that doesn't feel aligned to me, with me, in my soul, for me as a person in a relationship. I know that's not healthy. So just even having that awareness that I needed to work on me, I needed to love me. And now if it doesn't feel aligned now, of course, I'm saying this at 45, if it doesn't feel aligned, my body and my mind and my heart tell me so clearly. It's like, I can't avoid the uncomfort now, or the discomfort of knowing that there's this misalignment. It's just there and it will nag me until I walk away or make a change or whatever it is. You guys know what I'm saying?
It's so cool that you actually know how to peg it now. You know what it is, and you know that you're misaligned to it. And that's something I think that a lot of us in the past just didn't really know what the heck it was. It just didn't feel good, and here we are, older and wiser, and we are much more much more knowing how to word our feelings and how to describe what it is that's, whether it's annoying us or whether we love it. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a great part of
Lee,
evolving.
did you learn that from someone? Did you have someone talking to you about that? Or did you just kind of learn it on your own through all the trial and error?
About alignment?
Yeah, like just consistently
think-
giving when you don't get back.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while too. I mean, I've certain parts of my life as well, and in my marriage also, like, I felt not appreciated, perhaps. These days, I look at it more like, the more I love myself, which I love myself so much more now, I'm almost at a point which if I were in that situation, I just wouldn't give a shit. It would be a little different. It would be like, if this person doesn't appreciate what I just did, like, I can still go on being me. I'm going to do me. And that's okay. But hopefully I will do it with the right people that, like you said, I align with. And that's what I've been gravitating more to in my older life.
One of the things that this brought up for me when I looked back at relationships that I had prior to now is that I was somebody who avoided confrontation like the plague. Like nothing could be worse for me than somebody having something not perfect to say about me, right? And so what my perception was is, in order to avoid having any sort of confrontation with anyone, to avoid having anyone be able to say anything negative about me, I would go so overboard in relationships trying to be the perfect girlfriend, trying to be the perfect friend. And in my mind, what that was doing was it was keeping score about who was more giving, who was more whatever. And then what I could say, if they had anything negative to say about me, is, look at this laundry list of stuff I did for you, not out of love, by the way, not out of, genuine desire to please that other person, other than to avoid them ever being able to confront me with anything. But to be able to keep score and then be able to either show them the list, It's like, very theoretical, right? But, or I would be able to walk away from that relationship, because if somebody had something negative to say about me, I would just cut it off. And I would be able to walk away from the relationship and be able to be secure in myself, on my high horse, about how I did all of this stuff and they just didn't appreciate it. And then the straw that broke the camel's back would inevitably present itself. And like, this is how I lived my life for a long time. So there's like, Landmark talks about how there's like, this string of bodies behind you. It's like, yeah, the ghosts of friendships past came back to haunt me when I was going through my life and re-examining how I related to other people, because it was like trying to avoid something instead of creating a real conscious connection with other people. And now I see, like, no, it's not about keeping score. No, it's not about, overdoing it so that they have nothing negative to say about me. Now it's like, if you genuinely feel like there's something that I did to slight you, how about just apologizing? How about that? How about just saying to them, I'm genuinely sorry, and then moving on? You know, that's like the new layer of maturity and the new layer of being able to relate to somebody else. And it's not about like who gave the best birthday gift, and it's not about who threw the surprise party. It's about, hey, we connect every day. And if you have something that you need to share with me because, you know, you're having a hard time with something, I'll actually be there for you.
Yeah.
How about that?
God,
And
this
that
is
sounds so simple too. Does that sounds so simple, but
mhm.
it's so difficult for a lot of
Not
people.
easy.
Well, because the crowbar like needs to come in there and like extricate your ego out of your brain, out of your heart, out of like, it's just when you have that aha moment that you're living in the ego, it's like, it's the key to freedom. It really is. You have to get there on your own.
And it gets easier. It does get easier when you
Only
start.
with
this
awareness, Lee.
We love that word.
We love the word awareness.
That's our favorite word.
I just have to say that literally every single thing that each of the three of you just said, like enlarged my heart of and just my passion for this whole subject, because I relate so much to every single thing that each of the three of you said. And when I think of the word self-love, sometimes I know that it's such a like overused woo-hoo kind of thing. And some people are like, yeah, love myself, love myself. But for me, it's been more like my journey over the last couple of years has been about self-trust, self-respect, intuition, listening to my gut. And it literally blows my mind sometimes how much I allowed this quote to be true for me, that I kept giving more, thinking that they would appreciate it, and they just didn't. And it's like, what I think, Lee, you just said before, like, it doesn't feel good. Like, if it doesn't feel good, you have to pay attention to that, especially if it doesn't feel good continuously. It's exhausting, it's depleting. It's it really chinks away at your self-respect.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
It's such a
go
sign.
somewhere else, do
It's a
something
sign.
different. Yeah.
But the other thing that I want to emphasize, and this is another sort of aha moment that I think I knew all along, but didn't really drill down into it. And that is like, really take a look at who raised you. Really take a look at the environment that you were in. Yes, there's genetics for sure. But when I think back on my childhood, I remember my dad being pretty passive when things were shitty. And so, you know, I got good and bad, as we all do, from if you have one caretaker, two caretakers, some people have grandparents as caretakers. For me, it was just a nuclear family. It was mother, father, brother, sister, me. I didn't even have cousins. All my family was 6,000 miles away. So I didn't grow up in sort of that tribal feeling. And like we said before, there wasn't somebody who was just like pointing things out to me, you know. It took me a long, hard road to sort of wake up to this concept of stop giving so much at your own expense. But when I do think, when I, you know, you can't drill too much into your past because then it'll just make you crazy. But there's just something really interesting to go, oh, wow, like that's what was shown to me. I can choose a different path. And that's just really, really freeing.
And powerful to know. Absolutely.
And oh, wait, one more thing I wanted to say, and that is that, you know, we have a chance every generation to do things differently. And it doesn't matter if you change your mind about how you want to live your life. You know how we say sometimes like, oh, we teach people how to treat us. Like, oh, of course, you know, what's the incentive for someone to change how they're talking to you, treating you, not appreciating you? It's up to you to go, you know what? I've changed my mind and that's not okay anymore. And then just
it's all exactly, and it's all within us.
I'm allowed to change my mind just because you've been treating me that way or saying these things for however many years. Today it ends.
Over.
We're laughing because it's
to
true.
be said for a clean slate, though.
Yes,
I will say that, you know, there are like conditioned relationships where there are where it is very difficult to sort of like write the path, right? And so then it's up to you to decide, like, is this relationship worth continuing, or is this something that I simply have to walk away from because I outgrew it? you know. And then there's also the mark of the good relationship in the sense that if you can grow together, if
Yeah.
you can, you know, continue to evolve next to somebody, whether that's a friendship, that's a big one. You can outgrow your friends, you know, or if it's a romantic relationship, you know, there's that saying, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or forever. You know, I feel like if the mark of forever is, can I be a different person years down the line and still be aligned to who you are and you to me in terms of a friendship? Like we ladies, it's almost like we've been friends for 10 years, but it's not been that long.
It feels like 20, actually.
Yeah, because so much has happened and we've all watched each other grow in such an amazing, beautiful way. And we're all like kind of standing back and like applauding one another and like egging each other on, like, yes, personal growth, go, you know, like, oh, you have a new boundary. Awesome. Let's do this. But not everybody is going to be that kind of cheerleader for you.
God, are we blessed?
Or-
You know, I know that we've talked about, you know, we've done an episode about your finding your tribe. And I know that we always on these calls and outside of these calls express love for each other. But I really have such a profound appreciation for you gals. Like I never feel, I mean, I give a lot to you girls. I give you a lot of my energy. I give you a lot of my love. I sometimes shower you with gifts and surprises and the random things.
And chocolate.
But you know, there's never ever, there's just not this ever single slice of doubt or feeling unappreciated or unloved or anything. Like it's just there and it doesn't need to be talked about. It's just felt somewhere in my soul. And now I feel it or I don't, you know, it's much more clear to me now. And I definitely want to continue having conversations like this with my nieces as they grow up. You know, I mean, I have one niece who's 14 and I have said a few things to her about boys and things like that. But like, I want to seriously have conversations like this where, you know, I want her to know that she can start working on her own self-love like now. And if something doesn't feel good, like we said, it's okay to, you know, not move towards it, to step away, to sit back and just examine it. But like, just to be connected to like the feeling of what feels good and what doesn't. I never, like you said, Lee, it's like, you just kind of went with it. Like there was nothing inside of me, you know, there was an indicator there, but there was just no connection to that.
You
So
didn't
now
pay
that I have
attention.
that,
You weren't paying attention.
yeah. So it's that connection with ourselves. You know, the more we connect to ourselves, the more we'll sense that feeling of like, this feels good, or this doesn't really feel good.
And you know what?
I just love you girls.
It's also just kind of making me think about trust because Kim, when you were just talking about us as a group and how you feel about us, I think for me, one of the biggest things I feel is the trust. I feel like you guys would never cross me. We never judge each other, you know, and that's huge. There is such amazing value in knowing you have that in your friends, that you never give a second thought to like, do they appreciate this? What I just did, what I just said. It's like, you know, the appreciation is just in there. It's innate in us, for us.
Well, I think it's a good place to wrap. And I'm going to say that the four of us, for me, represent the opposite of the quote that I started off with, because I'm going to continue to give you so much more because you already appreciate what I give. See how I bookended that? So we hope you enjoyed our conversation as much as we did, because we enjoyed it a lot. If you like our conversations and our videos, please just subscribe to the channel. Be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining and have a great day.
Bye.